Peter. The president is tweeting this morning, pushing back at the criticism of Vice President Pence, who walked out of that NFL game after some players knelt in protest of the national anthem. What's the latest on what most see as a very costly stunt, costly to the American taxpayers?
Yeah, Joe and Mika, good morning to you. So it's certainly the latest chapter in what's become a divisive national debate, but this certainly escalates things. As you've been talking about, the vice president flying into his home state for this Colts game, hosting the Niners, many of the Niners players taking a knee during the Star-Spangled Banner. The vice president then tweeting out a picture, hand over heart, in writing, President Trump and I will not dignify any event that disrespects our soldiers, our flag, or our national anthem. Trump later tweeted that he basically asked Pence ahead of time to leave if anyone kneels, writing, I'm proud of him. Of course, as you just noted, critics have pounced. Democrat Adam Schiff calling this an expensive taxpayer-funded political stunt, making note of all the questions right now involving Trump cabinet members' expensive travel habits. The vice president's team did not say how much the trip cost. I reached out last night, but the reimbursable rate, and we checked on this, for political travel aboard Air Force Two would be about $16,000, just shy of $16,000 an hour to fly. So take about 6 hours of flight from Las Vegas, where he was, to Indianapolis, back to L.A., where he was heading back ahead of a political fundraiser. The cost of that would be roughly $96,000. Of course, it's not surprising that the 49ers would take a knee. Their former quarterback, Colin Kaepernick, he began the whole protest last season to bring attention to police brutality and racial injustice at the stadium. Reporters traveling with the vice president were told to stay in the van because, and this was a quote, there may be an early departure from the game. Ahead of the game, the vice president tweeted out a picture yesterday with the caption that read, looking forward to cheering for our Colts and honoring the great career of Peyton Manning. His number was going to be retired at halftime.
That's just
the Indy paper noting Pence posted.
Peter, that's just disingenuous. I mean, he knew. He knew the 49ers were going to kneel.
Yeah.
Before he went there.
Well, the bottom line is it would have been impossible not to know. The Niners are the ones that started this whole thing. The vice president's office says that this has been in the works for a long time, that it was only a last-minute flight to go out to Vegas ahead of time for this. They're pushing back. They say it's the height of hypocrisy for liberal Democrats, basically, to celebrate players who disrespect the flag and then to accuse the vice president effectively of, engaging in his own First Amendment rights of carrying out a political stunt.
All right. Thank you so much, Peter Alexander. I'll tell you what the height of hypocrisy is. What the height of hypocrisy is, Steve, is tweeting out a photo. Looking forward to watching the Colts play today. When you've told everybody that's following you, hey, I'm not going to watch the Colts today, where in fact we're going to have an early departure. They knew what was going to happen, and this isn't about First Amendment rights. This is about a political stunt that's going to end up costing taxpayers maybe $250,000 that tied up Secret Service members.
This is revealing about Mike Pence.
That required the Secret Service to go in and sweep the stadium probably the night before, the day of, that inconvenienced the good people of Indiana that wanted to go to a football game and didn't want to be tools used in his political PR stunt.
But they were tools used in a political PR stunt. That's exactly what it was. But just one.
Have you ever sat in traffic outside of a stadium when there's a president or a vice president there?
Steve has not.
Just saying.
Maybe Elise has.
For the hoi polloi like us that have done that before. I know you helicopter at the 50-yard line.
Exactly.
They give you Grey Poupon, and then you are ushered up to the box. But no, seriously,
if you could imagine.
All of us have done it. Yes. Where we've had to sit in our cars and wait for hours because of the inconvenience of a president or a vice president at an event.
Everybody has to be screened. Everybody has to go through the process. Just one footnote on what Peter was saying, though. The $96,000 for Air Force Two, if that's even the cost, is a fraction of the cost. You have to send in advance people. You have to send in his car. He has to get from the airport to the stadium. You have to pay for all the Secret Service. You have to get all those things then back out again. The cost of moving the president or the vice president is hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And on a separate note, can we just talk about not the smoothest operators with the photo and Twitter? Yeah. Did they not think that journalists were going to immediately Google and find out it was an old image? It just, the covering the tracks is not inspiring.
And I wonder in Indianapolis yesterday if there was a mom who was in labor who needed to get to the hospital.
It's like Bridgegate.
Because the roads were closed for the VP's motorcade, or if there was a police officer who couldn't respond to 9/11 as quickly, or if there were ambulances tied up. When you just step back from it, the abusiveness.
The abuse of power.
Right, of power. That's what it's about. It's not about the First
By the way,
Amendment.
Donald Trump,
story.
in private and in public, loved talking about Chris Christie and Bridgegate, loved talking about it. This
Alex, let's
makes shutting down a lane at the George Washington Bridge pale in comparison because the Secret Service were involved. The hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars were involved. This is so much worse than Bridgegate, and Donald Trump would talk to anybody about Bridgegate that would listen.
And not for nothing. You want to talk about disrespecting the flag? This is somebody who stood in silence when his running mate, Donald Trump, attacked a Gold Star father and mother and attacked prisoners of war, who include my former boss, Captain John McCain, U.S. Navy retired, winner of the Distinguished Service Cross and 3 awards of the Bronze Star and 1 of the Silver Star, and Colonel Bud Day, recipient of the Medal of Honor. Real heroes. Doesn't say a word. So he can spare us the sanctimony and the lectures and the hypocrisy here with his outrageous, profligate abuse of my tax dollars and all of yours.
And again, the safety of the people of Indianapolis. I mean, that's a very good question. Who was delayed from getting to the hospital, or who was delayed from doing their job? Maybe just going to a shift. Who was late to maybe the first job that they had? They probably might have gotten fired because, I mean, we don't know.
Who missed a job interview?
Yeah.
Exactly. Over the week.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.